I'm Amy, sex educator, somatic sex and relationship coach, and sex shop owner.
And I'm April, VP of an international high-end pleasure products company and boss queen sex toy mogul. We're best friends who make our own rules about who we are as sexual beings.
With everything from how to be a badass in the bedroom to top tips for bringing your relationship to the next level, we have something just for you.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Don't forget to head on over to our website at shamelesssex.com for more. And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use coupon code SHAMELESSPP in all caps at purepleasureshop.com. Hello, everyone.
Sleepy McBeagleson, everyone.
April's tired.
The cutest dog you ever did know.
Sleepy McBeagleson, the cutest dog I know. That's April today. She's tired.
Amy, everyone just missed her. Amy singing this lovely tune
sang it again.
Before.
Sleepy McBeagleson. That's you. And then just Monty over here, the dog.
I had a big weekend. Chill.
I know you went real big.
It was my partner's 50th birthday.
Oh yeah, and what'd you do?
We went to the Petite Hermitage in West Hollywood and had a rooftop soiree.
Did the dog just puke?
The dog.
No, he didn't. That's how he feels about Petite Hermitage.
The Petite's the best. It's so good.
So much that the dog puked.
Yeah. So we were just full blown doing it. Pool party, evening parties, all the parties. So I was back in work mode this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds wild. Sounds like a big weekend.
It was a really big weekend. We missed you, Amy.
I know. I was doing hippie things, me and my hippie roots things. But the hippie things are wonderful. I learned a lot about myself. You had
a retreat.
I had a retreat and I learned a lot about myself and some things I want to share on here too. Like I pulled up some shame that I had deeply buried. So I definitely want to share some of that on here since the name of the podcast is Shameless Sex, so why not? But one thing I do want to share, everyone, April and I created our own female sexual pleasure survey.
Ooh, we did.
So if you go to our website, just like we used to have this survey to find out who our listeners are, we have a survey on there. I think you go to the very bottom of our homepage, and this is for female bodied folks. So folks who have vulvas and clitorises, or I think I learned that the plural word for clitoris was like clitoridy or something. So all y'all's with
clitoritis?
No, not that sounds like a disease.
I know. That's what I'm wondering.
Like clitoridy. I listened to an episode on Chris Ryan's podcast. He had Wednesday Martin, who wrote a book about all the myths about female sexual desire. Really awesome episode. I hope we can get her on our podcast. She's brilliant, and I think she said that the plural of clitoris is clitoridy, but I will have to look it up again. I've never heard that.
I never knew that.
So all the folks with clitorides, no, you on the S then. I don't know. Anyways, so if you go to our website, it's a quick survey, and we are surveying folks to figure out what your orgasmic process is like. It's completely anonymous. It should take you under 10 minutes, probably more like 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes at the most. And we are just collecting this data for our own knowledge and to understand more about female orgasm. So it's a very informal survey. We're not researchers, but we have the ability to create our own science project by having you all answer these anonymous questions. So if you want to check it out, go to our website. Again, female body folks only, please.
And if you want to learn about pleasuring vulvas in general, you could check out omgs.com.
That is a great way to do it. I know I should put that at the end of the survey, like now go to omgs.com.
Right. I've been talking about this a lot because, and I think I'm getting really good at, in a nutshell, describing it, because at first conceptually,
the elevator speech.
Yeah, it's a website that you go to, and you can go to omgyes.com / shameless, and
you get $5 off when you
$5 off, and you get access to 62 episodes on real women.
62 videos
of real women pleasuring themselves in different ways, because there's little to no research about women specifically in pleasure, and they have done years of research with over women from the ages of 18 to 95,
and it's like over 2,000 women or something,
2,000 women, real humans and it's research, and all of your money, if you pay this, I think it's less than $39 with a $5 off that you get going,
and you can watch them over and over and over again.
Yeah,
it's not a subscription.
No, and there's the 11 interactive videos
you can actually practice on a vulva. It's so cool if you haven't checked it out. Well, and this is great, like you're saying, there's no research showing all the different ways as women like to pleasure themselves externally. We just see in porn like diddling the clit really hard, which is not what most women like.
And some people might not know what else to do down there. Like, well, what else do I do? Like
on someone else's body or their own body.
Their own, right? Yeah. So this is just it's a tool for you to find new ways to play.
Check it out. And I'm excited for season 2. It's going to be internal stimulation. Yippee.
Yeah, your money is going to fund season 2, folks.
Yeah, look at us. We're little researchers over here.
I know. Good job.
Researchers. But you know what makes research even more fun?
What?
Wine.
Why not?
Wine. Yeah.
So I got, all that wine from Margins, and it's almost gone.
Already?
I think I have 1 bottle left.
Shit. Chip.
I share though.
I know you're good at sharing.
I really share often because it is
also
so yummy.
a great wine to share. I gave my mom another bottle because she's so in love with it.
Well,
and my mom's so picky.
Whenever anybody drinks it, they're looking at me with these inquiring eyes because it's unfiltered. So
raw.
They pick all the grapes by hand, and then they don't use machines to actually produce the wine. So it's all handmade wine, and it's organic and it's raw.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah,
and you get a nice buzz.
You get a nice buzz.
Why do you like wine, Amy?
Wine
is the buzz.
It's just delicious. I like the buzz. It's delicious. I didn't drink any alcohol for 2 weeks. I just had my first glass of wine like yesterday, and this isn't a thing that I need to do regularly. It just happened to be that way in my life. And so that that nice glass of red wine, and it was Margins. And is it just such a nice revisit to not having any alcohol for 2 weeks? And as someone like for me, I only maybe drink like a couple days a week, like a glass or two. It's not, I don't drink a ton, but I do appreciate a nice glass of really good quality, delicious red wine.
It's comforting. Mm-hmm. I have to tell you with Margins, my wine snob friends, no one has ever complained about it. They won't be like
impressed.
Yeah, they won't be like overly over the top about how great it is, but they'll be like, oh yeah, this is nice. Mm-hmm. And my wine friends that don't know a lot about wine love it too. Yeah. So it's a pleaser.
Yep.
Go to marginswine.com if you want to get Margins wine. And if you use the access code shameless10, you'll get 10% off when you buy 3 or more bottles. And then if you buy 6 or more bottles, which is just a half a case, and you can send it to my address. I'll give you that right now. I'm just kidding.
Ooh,
April,
I don't know if you should give your address out on here because people are going to take you up on it. They're going to show up.
I'll just get cases of wine shipped to me. Thank you.
Yeah. I think, that already passed. I thought I saw that Margins Wine was having an event, but I think there was a little article written about them in the Santa Cruz Sentinel too.
Nice.
About sharing, what is it? Some local business. Something about they share, her and these other 2 winemakers. The trio makes sharing wine a business model. So I guess how that they all make wine together, but they all have their different brands. So anyways,
yeah, she's cool. She
awesome.
is about the community. So support your local winemakers, or if you're not local, support them from out of state by buying some great wine.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do a sex life update. We haven't done that in so long. And
remember when I used to do
okay, do it. Sex life update. Good job. She's a little tired, so it was a little half-assed, but you understand. So this would be like a sex and relationship and just maybe a life update, because we do share about our personal life on here, but it's been a while. When we started our podcast, that was a big part of it. The model was that we'd start with a sex life update. We were also single at the time, so it's way more exciting. And then we would go into the topic. But I personally had some stuff that came up recently that was really big for me, and specifically regarding some shame. So essentially, there's so many layers of it. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of it. I realized I haven't been letting myself be sexy lately, and it's actually felt kind of hard for me to be like super sexy for the last 2 years, meaning since I had the abortion, and that there even is this new thing when I'm having sex or being sexual that sometimes this awkwardness comes up. Like I feel awkward, or like the minute sex is on the table, I sometimes am feeling this like resistance of like, oh God, there's pressure here now, which was not there before. There's all these heady things that I haven't been letting myself fully notice. I've been like, oh, there's that thing. I just ignore it and pretend like everything's okay. And I haven't been saying anything to my partner about it. You're not outing which is what I talk about on the podcast all the time, right? Like out it. I'm not outing like I feel awkward right now, or I don't feel present, or I'm really in my head right now, or I don't feel sexy. I'm just noticing them and then trying to override the system. And this isn't all the time, but I just realized that this has been happening often.
And are you shooting yourself because you're like, I have a podcast?
So here's the other thing. Yeah. Here's the piece.
I do the same thing.
I have shame because I teach people about this all the time. And here I am doing the thing. And it's just, it's like part of me is like, oh, Amy, you're kind of a hypocrite. I'm like, no, I'm human.
You're a human being.
That all the stuff that we're talking about is stuff that we're either have worked on, are working on, or will forever work on. But it's just like, it was kind of a rude awakening to see all these things that I don't let myself see. And then the sexy piece too, I don't feel like I used to have this practice that I've talked about before, where I would maybe smoke a little bit of marijuana, or maybe not, but like dim the lights, put on some sexy booty shorts. And this is also when I lived alone. Now I live with my partner, so it's like I don't have as much. I haven't created the space for it. And then sexy music, dance in front of the mirror and like rub my breasts and like just tap into how sexy I am. I haven't been doing that. I feel like I've been dressing more for comfort than sexy, which you probably noticed because I get hippier by the day, and that's a part of me though. Like I'm like missing that part of me.
You want to resuscitate your sexiness?
Yeah, I want to bring sexy
back. We're going
back.
to an S Factor class. Or no, we're going to the
pole
Steel
class.
And Grace. I am like the most awkward. One of our girlfriends that we have a mutual friend was texting me, and I asked her to come. I was like, you should come. We're Amy and I,
intro to or pole.
And she's like, oh my God, I bet you're so good at that. I was like, if by good you mean awkward, no, I'm not. I'm super awkward because it's hard for me to get in touch with my sexy self as well.
It's interesting. So I've been talking to folks about this, about being sexy, there's so many different ways to tap into sexy, and it's different, and I've like, talked to men, like, how do you feel sexy? And they're like, I don't, it's, or sometimes they do, but it's just a very different way. It comes from a different energy. And so for me, my way of sexy is just been kind of like put on the sidelines or the back burner. And like you and I, April, we're both very heady people.
Oh yeah.
And for me, being super heady, I spent a number of years trying to get less heady, more in my heart, and operate from my body. And I was in my like sexual prime because I was so embodied. And then I had the trauma, with the abortion, which put me in my head because my head and my body were in agreement, blah, blah, blah. And it's just been this battle getting back into that part. And I almost feel like what I need, like, I'm glad we're going to Steel and Grace in Santa Cruz. Is the studio that does S Factor and pole dancing. And so it's all about sexual or sensual embodiment for not just for women, actually.
It's on the 30th of October. If you're in town, anybody out there.
You want to come dance with us?
Come dance.
But I feel, and I think that'll be great. And she actually gave us free passes to come to other classes too. And I'm almost feeling like I need an intensive, like a 3-day intensive with a whole bunch of women where we're just like being. We could do
pretend stripper dances where everybody gets their dollars out.
You're
love
so
doing
good at that.
See, that's when
you're sexy.
That's when I can really embrace. When I put on some lingerie and some high heels, then I can really get into it. I think I need to bring high heels to that.
Yeah, we can put on booty heels. Shorts and things.
Yeah, I might do that.
Yeah, I want to cultivate more of that, and I have my practices like. For me, my meditation that I do, I have a specific meditation that I do. I'm not gonna say that I do every morning because I've also been a poor meditator lately.
I have too, actually. Just as you said that, I haven't meditated in almost a week now.
Shame
which
on
I
us.
was every day, at least 4 days a week.
Yeah,
that's why I'm feeling a little disconnected from my own.
And you got your moon cycle.
And it's my moon cycle with the full moon though. Booyah!
Boo!
How about them apples?
Did you sleep last night? How was your sleep?
I slept really well.
Uh-huh.
I slept really well. I've been sleeping really well because I kind of ran my body through the gamut the last few days, just like up late and hanging out with friends. And so I feel like, I've had friends in town, like just when you came over, I have friends in town from the UK right now. So I've been in constant entertainment mode, which I don't want to interrupt you. I want you to finish because I'm going to share something after you're finished.
Well, it's just like, I mean, maybe we can talk to Elise from S Factor or from Steel and Grace about this. Like, if maybe she could put together a special intensive, like a sexy intensive. I don't know, but I'm feeling like I need a deep dive into that.
Remember when she was trying to help me with my S-walk and I was terrible, and she's like, "Oh well, you know what?
You just it was like this. Yeah,
it looks like my gangster lean."
You look well. She said, "Look like you're a little bit intoxicated." And April just like wasted. She wasn't wasted, but your walk was like
sober. I just looked like I was drunk.
like a drunk sailor.
Yeah.
No. I don't. This being sexy is an interesting thing in how unique it is for each person. I know a number of women who don't like. So we have a lady friend. You know who I'm talking about. She's very, very sexual. She is very horny all the time and likes to have lots and lots of sex.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I'm talking about. She doesn't identify as sexy.
Really?
Yes, she doesn't. So someone who is very sexual, very horny, and has all kinds of crazy, hot, wild sex and juicy orgasms doesn't feel sexy. And so I've talked to clients about this, that I think the problem is that we have one model for what sexy should look like for women, which is like, again, like the booty shorts and the heels, and it's like super feminine and flowy and I don't know, whatever, shaking your butt. And not everyone feels like they align with that. And when I look at her, I'm like, obviously you're sexy. Like, I mean, or maybe sexy. So this is my what I want to propose. And I said this to a client. Maybe we need to find a different word other than sexy. Like, you know, right now.
Sensual.
Yeah, whatever it is. And maybe
Savory.
for our friend that's very sexual, maybe sexy is not the word, but whatever word works for her to tap into that part of herself, so she's not almost like shaming herself like, I'm not sexy, I don't know what sexy is.
Can I be savory?
You're so savory.
Thank
I
you.
think you're tasty.
Thank you. I think you're like saffron.
Like a hippie?
I was thinking like your stripper name.
Oh, nice. I'll take it. Yeah, so that was just like my rant about those pieces and about how hard it is, the pressure that we have or that we give ourselves as sex educators and, you know, shameless sex podcasters, and
It's a lot of pressure
to have it all together, but we don't.
No. And thank you for sharing that, by the way. That's not an easy thing. And for listeners out there, I also have something to share because we get so many emails, and I feel like a lot of them have to do with keeping the spice in your sex life, and especially in long-term relationships, sometimes sex just falls off the table. It's not off the table. You just forget about it. And that happened to me this week with my partner. It was days and days of the build up for the party, guests coming in, staying up late, being so exhausted that my vagina was not working. I was like, it's not working. And he's like, my dick's not working either. I'm like, okay, we're good. Because we were just so tired. And it was probably about a week that went by, and I was like, we haven't made any time for ourselves. None. And so last night we got back, and it was almost like this repetitive, because like this monotony or of going straight to the couch and laying and watching a movie that we've been into, the repetitive nature of that from after being on the trip. And we went to go turn on a movie, and I was like, no, stop. I'm like, no. I'm like, come upstairs. And so I just was like, it's time for us. So he like lit candles, and I like brushed my teeth, and he brushed, and we got totally ready. He got naked, and I didn't get naked. I kept on like my yoga pants and my bra, and I'm like, we're not going to explore. Let's have zero goals. Let's just like explore each other's bodies. We haven't done that in a long time. We do have a lot of goal-oriented sex. We lit candles. I put on the Bonobo station on
Is
Pandora.
it Bonobo or is it Bonobo? I always wonder.
Well, I was thinking like Bonobo because he like the
like the apes?
like the apes,
like our
primates,
ancestor, or
yeah,
our closest ancestor.
So I always
neighbor.
call him Bonobo.
Yeah,
he's British.
Bonobo. Okay. Anyways, you put on Bonobo.
So that being said, super sexy. The scene was very sexy, and we had such amazing connective sex like that I hadn't felt in quite a long time, just because usually we have goal-oriented sex. We do, and not on purpose, just because I'm like, I want to get off. I want you to get off. So it was really, really beautiful. And I said to him, we have to start making sure that we leave time for each other. It doesn't have to be every day. And this is the stuff that we talk about a lot on the podcast, about honoring the partner, voicing how you feel, but also not even knowing when you're in a partnership, or maybe you're not with your partner all the time. Maybe you're traveling, or they're traveling, or you're at work and they're home with the kids, and you literally stop remembering to honor each other.
Yeah.
Or if you're with multiple partners, it just honoring the chemistry, the interaction, and the
It's like honoring the moment, the preciousness
honoring
of,
what you have with each other. So that hasn't happened to me in a long time, and I was really happy that we worked it out, and it felt so good. And I feel like, I need sex a lot of times to bond with my partner. It's important for me. It's part of my language of love, is probably right. It's right in there with the top, like feeling that sexual connection. So it was great, and we're only human.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Does just having something inside of you, like a cock or a sex toy, like inside, like penetration, alone feel good, like really good? Like, does it feel really good to just have something inside of you, or is it the other stuff? Okay.
A lot of times I don't really like having things inside of me. When I'm all prepped and ready to go and my pussy starts getting really wet, then I almost need something, like some fullness. They could just be fingers, or they could be a toy. But before that, if my pussy isn't prepped and ready to go, I actually don't love just having something inside of me.
Yeah, this is one thing I added to the survey that we created, was this question of, because I have talked to some women who are like, oh yeah, just having, a cock or a sex toy inside me just feels amazing. Like there's something about that. And I was like, do you have more nerve endings inside of you than I do? Which there's truth to, because everyone has different amounts of nerve endings. It's like some people have more nerve endings externally, some people have more nerve endings around the cervix. We're all different. So, and so my theory was like, oh, you just have more nerve endings in your vaginal canal, because, and I've talked to 2 women like, oh yeah, just having a cock inside me feels amazing, like just having inside of me. And then I've talked to other women, they're like, oh no, it's the clitoris and all the other touch and like the energy and the movement. And so that's just why I'm like taking a poll, but that's why we have the survey too, to find out more how other people respond. What's your experience? And I think that would go hand in hand with what we learn about sexuality, that most of the nerve endings are externally for most people, but that's not everyone.
It's quite a lot of folks enjoy external stimulation. I
need
one thing that I did yesterday that was really hot, that I said that he couldn't put it inside. I was like, nope, can't do it for a while, because I wanted to like basically get him so excited that he was just gonna pop. I was like, So I just really played around with that for a long time. That was really fun, just kind of putting some rules out, like some fun rules that could be broken. That was really hot, and that really, I think, turned him on. He was like, all right, because usually I'm like going down, or I didn't use my hands. I was just like grinding on his cock with like my body and my vulva, and then not like, it was just really fun.
That sounds.
I'm actually getting excited, but now I have a tampon up there.
Oh, I love how you call them tampoons. God, you got to go menstrual cup again. I know it went backwards and you had a trauma.
Twice I got one backwards.
I don't know how do you end up?
You asked my vagina that. I don't know. Ask the vagina that, because I didn't do it. I put it in correctly. It just turned around.
Your vagina is very strong and somehow does like a whole workout around.
It's like doing gymnastics inside my canal. Yeah. I don't know. The doctor had no explanations, because I was like, I didn't put it in that way. I know how to put in the cup. I read the instructions, and I feel like I even like could try to feel it to suction around the cervix. I like felt it. I try to hear it pop. I like shifted it around. It was on there. It just shifted around.
Menstrual cup has been such a game changer. I like how it doesn't dry me out. Like, it's just...
No, tampons dry me out. I'm not a huge fan. Yeah. I try to switch to the organic tampons. So they actually are a little bit better for the dryness, but they get totally dry me out. It hurts to put one in. Like, it's like, ugh.
Like sandpaper?
Yeah.
It's a desert in there. Before we talk about the next topic, thank you for sharing that too, by the way. And you made me want to... No, you didn't make me do anything.
What, my desert vagina?
No, you're not specifically about your.
It's only a desert right now with
nights
the tampon.
Of no goals and
yes.
making sex a priority. I mean, that's something for me that is always a challenge now that I live with my partner. And I remember when, for the first 3 years of our relationship, was it only 3 years? I guess it was only 3 years. A little over 3 years, like 3.5 years. We had the hottest sex all the time, and we didn't live together. And we would say like, wow, our sex is so hot. We should go have sex somewhere in public and let people watch us and like share this with the world because it's so hot. And now, like I'm speaking to this awkward feeling that comes up sometimes, or this resistance. Like I don't feel that way, and I want that back. I want it back, and I'm saying, I'm not expecting to be back where we have sex all the time and all that, but I want that. I really desire to have that feeling of just being like, just super embodied in my sexuality. And I'm just noticing that I have some of it, and it comes in waves, and I really feel like there's some work I have to do to like take the big leap. So just want to throw that out there, and you're inspiring me with some of your things you're saying. So thanks for that, Chia. I want to do a shout out though that is not related to sex at all. But this is a shout out to our friends Kyle Tierman and Chris Ryan, who wrote the book Sex at Dawn. They are hosting in LA the Motherfucker Awards.
Ooh.
Have I told you about this?
No.
The Motherfucker Awards. Okay, so the Motherfucker Awards, celebrating those that have made Mother Earth scream the loudest in 2018. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's a whole manifesto. But essentially, it's like a
environmental awards,
comedy show, like Academy Awards for the biggest assholes who have fucked the environment up.
People that have fucked the environment up.
Oh, and there's specific categories. I don't even know. Like I don't even know. Monsanto is one of them, but like J.P. Morgan, you know. So and they'll have comedians coming up on stage, I believe, in like portraying these people. So it's a whole thing. It's down in LA at the Miracle on December 4th. This is 2018. So this is the Miracle in LA. Go check it out, or go to let's see, where is his link? I guess if you go to Kyle Tierman's website, you have to go to kyle.surf/podcast. Or if you look up the Motherfucker Awards, they have a website, and it's also on Instagram as well. So
right, and they both have podcasts. They're both huge podcasts.
I've been saying Chris Ryan's wrong. It's not tangentially. It's I can never say tangentially.
That's a hard.
Tangentially
speaking.
Tangentially.
Damn it,
son of a bitch! Why did you make it so hard?
He did it for people like us.
You're fucking with us,
God,
Chris. You're fucking with us good. Okay, so on to another topic. This is kind of like news, but also like topic of the podcast. Sure. There's some heavy things going on out there
in the Tantra world.
In the Tantra world, and in the sexuality world of some whistleblowers. You know, some people calling out Source Tantra, which is based actually here in Santa Cruz. It's Charles Muir and Leah Alchin's Tantra community. Tantra, and they have a website, and they offer retreats and all these things. And he
was one of the pioneers of bringing Tantra to the masses, right, to the mainstream.
Western world.
Like
Neo-Tantra, what we know of as Neo-Tantra, which is Tantra that's about sexuality. Whereas, I mean, there's so much more Tantra, but yes, yeah, he's one of the big ones. And I've been to their weekend retreat before, and they've actually taught workshops at Pure Pleasure. So I actually know them, and so I'm not coming in here with a complete opinion, because it's tricky. Like, so if a woman were to come up to me and they were to say, I was raped by that person, I would instantly support her and believe her. So I'm not saying I don't support or believe anyone.
Well, did you give a little bit of a background?
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give you background what's going on. Yes. Good point. So there's essentially, there's women that are coming out saying that they have been sexually assaulted by someone that worked under Charles Muir and Leah, and that it was covered up by Source Tantra, and so these women are coming out and saying that they've been assaulted, and then I think they're even saying something about how Charles has done something as well, and so there's people coming out, and then there's other folks that are writing articles and posting things online that are putting out there and essentially it's a call to action to shut Source Tantra down.
There's some accusations flying.
Accusations, and do we call them accusations when it's just someone? Is it an accusation when someone says this happened to me? Is that still
that's an accuser?
I'm accusing someone, so, but I'm also speaking to like my own,
which is an accusation.
Yeah, but also speaking to like my own trauma. I just wouldn't have called that. I mean, it feels like there's more to it when you call something an accusation. You're also saying like, I'm accusing someone, but I'm also like speaking to like my own hurt. I don't know. I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be. But
I mean, yeah, there's an accuser and an accusee.
Yeah, or like accuser and someone.
It's better than the plaintiff and the defendant, but you could call it that as well.
Or the perpetrator and the
suspect and the
predator and the
and the prey.
I don't know.
This is not a laughing matter, however.
No, it's not a laughing matter. But I mean, anyway, it's big, and this isn't the first time. This actually happened also with another sex educator, actually a couple other sex educators, and I'm not going to get too deep into their stories, but where they've been called out by those people only had, I think, only one person each. I could be wrong, calling them out for various things that were along the categories of Me Too and sexual assault-ish, and so things are just coming to light. But this one with Source Tantra seems pretty explosive. And so there's stuff on Facebook, and there's an article on Medium if you want to learn more about what people are saying. And so I don't have I don't have a complete strong opinion other than, like I said, if someone says that they were raped, then I will support them. So I'm on board with that. That if someone is saying that, then I personally would be like, all right, I want to hear your voice. I want to support you. What do you need?
And great for them to come forward. Like, that takes so much strength and courage.
And it seems like in this case, the claim is that they're saying that they voiced what they, or that they're it's being downplayed, you know, that they're voicing their needs, they're voicing their hurts, and that it's being tried to kind of like covered up or downplayed or something, or like, yeah. So there's all kinds of signs, you know, this sign, that sign. It's a little bit of a war, honestly, which is kind of how it always goes when even in politics, right? We see like, oh, I didn't, you know, someone's saying that something happened and they're saying I didn't do it. So it's a little complicated. So what I want to speak to, because I can't give a personal opinion on what actually happened. I was not there, you know, but if people are hurt, then their hurt needs to be heard and taken care of. And if people are like being targeted and innocent, then that deserves light too. And it's not my job right now. But what I do want to comment on is when people are in a position of power, and especially when it's about sexuality, the lines can get blurred really, really quickly, meaning people look up to you and they look at you in a different way that they would not normally if you weren't that person in position of power. So an example would be that you are a Tantra healer, and whether you're man or woman, doesn't matter. You're whoever, what, it doesn't matter if you're sex or gender, and you are doing a healing session for someone else who has some sort of trauma, or maybe no trauma, but they just want to do a healing session, and you're touching them in a sensual or sexual way, and it's deeply healing and profound and juicy and sexy or whatever. And if immediately after that you are sexually intimate with them, there is a chance that you are stepping into very tricky territory, because you've just opened them up into this deeply vulnerable place where now they're like, you open up all the portals and they're more open than they normally are. They don't have their protective layers that they normally do have to make different choices. And so bad things happen there, or can happen there. And this isn't just in the Tantra world. This happens in the medicine world, in the healing world, you know, with like, you know, I've heard of like ayahuasca shamans crossing these same lines. People look up to them like they're Jesus. You know,
Bikram.
Yeah, Bikram yoga. Yeah, like you're an authority
multiple
figure.
Folks, victims come up. And I think that was actually pretty much based on some...
And there's and people are also saying that he'd like blackmail them or something, like if you have sex with me then you can get this, you know. And
quid pro quo
again, like I don't want to get stuck in the he said, she said, they said, whatever stuff right now. Like that's not why I'm bringing this up. Want to bring to light the power piece, and that when someone is in a position of power, the dynamic is changed. And I highly suggest that the person who's in a position of power stays really cautious about what happens when they're in that role. They're actually really aware of that they're in power, that they're being looked up to or called upon, or someone is being really vulnerable to them and giving them everything in that moment. And that if lines are crossed in that moment, it can get really messy. And I will say that I've had a personal experience, a really wonderful experience. This is going to be really confusing, but someone that I really, really enjoy their company, someone who I actually admire and had a really great experience with, where I was offered a Tantra massage, and they are someone that is affiliated with Source Tantra, and they were practicing, and they offered me a Tantra massage. We didn't really know each other. They said, you know, they do it for free. They just need practice. And I said, awesome. My body is my research project, and super sweet person. And we sat down. It was very sweet, laid down the boundaries. They said, I'm just going to use my hands on you. I'm not going to, use my mouth. And but you can touch me if you want to, and you can, and I think they even said you could even kiss me if you wanted to, but I won't do that with you. I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, well, nice to know that the ball is in my court. And but it wasn't expecting that. I was thinking it was just going to be all hands.
Right.
Which yeah. So anyways, and so the session went on, and it was I think I was supposed to be there for 2 or 3 hours. I was there for 6 hours.
What?
And, yeah.
Was that comfortable?
Oh yeah, I was juicing all over the place.
Oh.
It was awesome. I mean, I will say that Source Tantra has it down. They're very good at what they're doing. This art of sacred spot massage and really honoring the divine feminine is really, really powerful and really beautiful. And what happened was after hour 2 or 3, when I'm so like lit up and turned on, I was like, yeah, I want to kiss you. And just, I started to initiate that. And it was consensual and it was sweet. And I had a very great experience. I left there like so lit up. I was like, woo. What ended up happening though is it got confusing where I thought maybe I do have feelings for this person. And they actually were pretty interested in me. And then I found out upon spending more time together that like, no, that was just a thing in the moment. But I really care about this person. Such a sweet human. But it was just a thing in that moment that felt really, really, really beautiful. And then I had to let them down. And so this isn't a traumatic experience, but this is an example of how delicate those situations are. That when we lose that protective layer and we're so juicy and charged up that all of a sudden, like we could just make all these decisions that we wouldn't normally make. In my case, it wasn't a bad one and it wasn't traumatic, but had I been someone with a lot of trauma, it could have been bad.
A disaster.
It could have.
Yeah.
So I just want to highlight that right there. I think that like that's as much as I really want to get into it at this moment that again this part, but people in power, no matter what it is, if it's with sexuality or not, that you have obligations, I think, to be really cautious about how you act. And I'm not saying that I know or don't know what's happening at Source Tantra, but I will speak to that's really
I think that's a general paradigm that's going on in a lot of different sectors of the world, in business, the business world, the entertainment industry. Positions of power can equate to people, their egos get blasted. It can hurt people. You have to be really careful. Yeah. It's hard to not be a person that uses their power for good and not for evil.
Yeah, totally. And so here's another side of power. The internet, social networking. We have the ability to out, cyberbullying. We have the ability to out anything we want to and make it completely public. And so again, well, if someone's saying I was hurt, I was raped, I was harassed, I'm going to believe them. And we also have to consider that we have the ability to spread news, and it could be completely accurate, and we spread the news, and that's really helpful. And it can also be completely inaccurate. So that's another
precisely why I can't handle Facebook, because I feel like people use it as their political platform to get their voices heard and their opinions, which I love that we live in a society where you have access to so many thousands of people with your fingertips. But at the same time, you can also really hurt someone if the accusations turn out to be false. Yeah.
And there's just no way to know. But I think it is important that we give people voices and that they're advocated for. And, look in the history. I mean, I was talking to my mom about this, and, my mom and her mom's mom, they grew up in generations where if they were to say I was raped, which actually did happen for some of them, their voices were shut out. They didn't have voices. So now we have these outlets where, when we're living this time where people are saying it and they're actually being listened to, and people are writing articles about it and posting publicly on Facebook. And so there's a certain part of it, I think, that's really important. And I think we just have to take all the factors into consideration when we navigate this space. So it's super tricky territory, all of this stuff. But I just want to give voices to everyone, and also just create awareness around all the different dynamics and the complexity of what's going on. And it's not just as simple as he said, she said. There's a lot more to it.
They said.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for correcting me in my whatever gender binary bullshit. Damn it, April, you caught me.
I just did an interview with a Harvard University professor today.
Oh yeah, what was that about? You're talking about dildos?
We were talking about they're doing some research. Anyway, I did do like at the end, I was like, do you listen to podcasts? I gave us a shameless shout out.
You said this to someone at Harvard?
Someone at Harvard University reached out to me because they're conducting a study specifically about the normalization of sex toys in the world today.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, it was an hour long, but it was really interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you, she's a sociology professor, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were you feel
consumption and culture and the topics of sex toys? That's what it was.
Oh, interesting.
And how the sex toy industry shapes individuals' attitude towards heterosexual and queer sex. So keep you posted on that, folks. I think it's out in December.
April, Harvard. Hey.
That was blasting me at 10 a.m. Had my brain cells working though. I was quite.
No wonder you're so tired now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you nailed that
My
one.
partner's dog was here barking at the wall. I was like, damn it.
Son of a monkey. That dog's a little bitch.
Cunty McBeagleson.
The cutest, not the cutest dog. I mean, it's a cute dog.
She's adorable. She's neurotic.
She's an asshole. She tries to kill my Monty over here.
She's a Shiba Inu, and they have very interesting temperaments. She's cute as a button. She just is she's
adorable.
She just is neurotic as they come. And my partner says it's the dog version of me.
Yeah. That's good.
He's like, she kind of acts like you. I was like, you're kind of right. She's like, biting at random.
Except that you're nice to all humans, and then she just hates all other animals.
She hates all animals. She likes humans. She hates animals. She is really funny little fighting dog.
Well, maybe I'll have more love for her. I'll just look at her as the dog version of you, and I'll be like, oh, okay, fine.
Do it. She's fine. Just like super high energy, and she's like she looks like her head's gonna explode half the time. So it's like me.
Oh geez. I have another announcement to make. Past episodes, I've advertised that Daniel Molnar and I are doing our Tantra half-day workshop on November 4th. We're actually switching it to January.
Oh.
Daniel's been super slammed, and we just haven't been on top of it. We haven't had even time to really meet and get it all together. So we're moving it to early January. Okay. So stay tuned. But if you were interested in that, sorry, giving you some notice on that one.
We have a workshop coming out.
Yes.
Very soon.
We have been promoting this workshop that is a 4-week series that's actually starting today, the day this podcast is being released. This Tuesday that's being released. But what we've actually decided, and it was going to be this 4 weeks group thing, we've actually decided that we want to make it evergreen and offer it so that it's always available online.
It makes more sense because it is very beautifully put together, great information, and it really should be accessible all the time. So
and people are busy,
and people have asked us for that too. We've had multiple listeners and multiple folks that are at their educators. Slutty Girl Problems, that was
Slutty Girl Probs.
Slutty Girl Probs. Lorraine from Slutty Girl Probs, who's been on a show, was like, why don't you have this be evergreen? Yeah. So I think it's a great idea, and we do tend to listen to y'all. So
yeah, we love y'all.
We love feedback.
So it's a 4 video series for erotic empowerment for female identified folks, and it has all kinds of juicy stuff, tips and tricks to become your most sensual and sexual self, including the things that we're talking about today about what we're working on, our own stuff that we're constantly working on too. And you'll have an option to upgrade too. You can either just do the videos and it also has homework assignments and practices for you to do at home. So it can be completely done on your own, the privacy of your own home, or you can also do an upgrade option so that you can have private coaching sessions with us for a really affordable add-on.
Right.
So go check out our website at shamelesssex.com, and I believe it's under the workshop section, and you can learn more, and you can do it any motherfucking time.
Yeah. So it's not non-committal there. So you can go in,
or you can do someone.
Do JTT. Just the tip, yo.
JTT, yo. You can still get chlamydia from it. I did.
Damn it.
I know. Oh my God.
I remember that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I got it from just the tip. I was like, oh
tip.
Man.
Yeah, just the tip, man. And then within that time span, I had been intimate with someone else where they also just the tipped me. consensually. And so we didn't actually have sex, and and there was no condom, but like their cock was kind of hanging around the vulva, but there were some juices exchanged, which is so totally not the safest of safe sex.
Fluid bonding.
And so I had to call them and be like, sure.
So I got chlamydia.
You should go get tested. And they knew I'm a sex educator. They're like, so where do I do? Where do I go? And then we never talked ever again. But I was also like starting to get a relationship with the person that gave me chlamydia. So. See, you can get people stids and they still love you. That's what April calls them, stids.
I do.
April, so we have these jewelry things in front of us. So
so we finally
open our presents.
I got this thing sent to my house, and I was like, "What is that?" And
it's
I
like
opened it up.
Hanukkah.
It was like Christmas. So they are these beautiful triangular shaped boxes, and they say horoscope by Bijou Indiscret on them. And mine is for a Cancer zodiac sign.
Mine's
person.
Pisces.
And Amy's is Pisces.
We're both water signs, everyone.
Yeah, we are. And you're Scorpio rising, and so am I, by the way.
And inside it says reconnect with your feminine energy.
And so you open it up. And this is like the
I'm
best
put a picture on our Instagram.
Yeah,
and a little video too.
We'll Insta it because it's really cool. There's a little triangular thing about my sign being a Cancer, and some information about there's I got a green aventurine stone, and
so it's a necklace with a stone.
Yeah, and it says it's the compass of new opportunities, and then it has some other descriptions. And then you got this too, this little clitoral balm that's for water signs, and it smells like sandalwood.
Ooh.
And it says on this that
sandalwood is a cleansing element which balances your emotions.
Yes, who doesn't
but
need
it's specifically for water people.
Yes, and it smells so good, and it's all natural ingredients. These are from Barcelona, and then there's a little finger vibe that has a little motor on the end of it that you push, and you can just wear this in your finger.
So it's hands-free vibrator.
Yeah, so if I'm doing it doggy style, I can just touch
or someone else could put it on their finger. Yeah, it's awesome. It says, so for Pisces, it says, I'm artistic, compassionate, and likable, which I think that's true. I think I'm getting more into, I guess a podcast is my art, but I'm definitely compassionate and likable. Okay.
I think this would be the best birthday gift though for anyone because
Hanukkah, Christmas.
It's so Christmas as well, or isn't Hanukkah, or
under $50.
It's like 40. I think it's 44, and you get gave Shameless Sex listeners, that means you right now, a discount code. It's Shameless. If you go on their website, bijouindiscrets.com, you can get
15% off.
15% off, which is, they've never done that before. That's exclusively for our listeners because they love us and we love Bijou Indiscrets.
So you can buy it for yourself. You get a little gem necklace with your birthstone. You get a little clitoral balm that's either tingling or warming. And then you also get a finger vibrator, all for under $50. A great gift for you or for someone else. Go check it out. And this feels so good. We got presents. What does yours say though for Cancer? Because April and I are BFFs. Because
Cancers are the best sign in the zodiac.
It does not say that.
Oh, sorry. Just kidding.
No, on this page, dummy. The first page.
I know that it says sensitive, intuitive, and romantic.
Oh, you are. You should. Do
you think I'm sensitive?
Yeah.
I think I'm sensitive to energy, but I don't think I'm a sensitive human. Like, I think that I'm. Well,
I think you're sensitive. Depends on how you define sensitive. Are you sensitive, like considerate and sensitive, or are you sensitive, like you feel all everyone's energies and it's overwhelming? Or
that's what I think. I'm more in tune with energies. I'm definitely intuitive. Like I think a great intuition.
Romantic. I just always think of when you make brunch and you like set the scene, or even dinner. Like she'll get sushi takeout, but we won't just like eat the sushi takeout. She'll like bring out the chopsticks and the fancy plates and like candles and like fancy napkins.
And then I go, like if I have a dinner party, I cut fresh rosemary from my rosemary bush, and then or I put like fresh flowers on each plate. I do something special because I think food time is the gathering of all the senses. It's all about what you're looking at, what you're smelling, it engages all your senses.
Well, I think it goes hand in hand with sensuality and romance because we use the same things. Like you eat delicious food or you have great sex. So you say, we use the words craving for both of them. They come from the similar parts of the brain or the same parts of the brain. I think it's the hypothalamus.
Hypothalamus gland?
I think so, is where we have like hunger, thirst, and sex subscribed. I could be wrong. I think it's all coming from the same place. But don't quote me because I'm not a researcher. I'm not a science nerd.
I think she's actually just told me she's quitting the podcast to become a researcher.
Yeah, you guys, I'm leaving the podcasting gig. I'm
She's
done.
going to work at Harvard University.
I do want to say we get so many awesome emails from people that are just like, I love your podcast. I love what you do. Keep doing it. So thank you for all of that, and keep sending us sex questions. We will answer them. Now we're answering sex questions. We don't answer all of them. But
we haven't asked for a review in a long time.
We need reviews.
If you can go onto iTunes and review us, we love 5-star reviews. We do read all of them. I look through them every week. Sometimes we read them on the air. And I used to do them in accents, but then I kept blowing the accents, in my opinion. So we stopped that. But if you can take the time out and just give us a review on iTunes, that really helps other people get to see us. We get more visibility. That means they can listen to us and also get, some information to hopefully help increase the tools in their tool belt and better their lives.
Ooh, I'm going to read one review. Let's go out with a review.
Okay.
Our most recent one says, shameless sex sucks balls. I'm just kidding. It does not say that.
It's so dark. Amy, I'm so sensitive. Don't say that. I'm going to cry.
Put your gems and crystals on.
Damn it.
Put the vibrator on your clit. You'll be less sensitive.
Okay.
No, you'll be more sensitive. Have an orgasm. Okay, here we go. Our latest one says, welcome to a no shame world. This is 5 stars. Thank you. Learn how to navigate through the gift of sexual relationships with April and Amy, who are... Oops. Why are you doing that?
I just did it by accident.
She's playing our podcast. This is
weird. Oh my God. This is weird.
It's like a meta
I can't
experience.
Stop it. Oh my God. There we go. Sorry.
Jesus.
I was trying to look at the review.
Anyways, that was funny. Isn't that like what they call meta, where you do the thing within the thing or something?
I think so.
I don't know.
It's yeah.
Okay, so anyways, learn how to navigate through the gift of sexual relationships with April and Amy, who are experiencing all the same things we all do in the world and are not afraid to share, which actually speaks to exactly what we said in this podcast. These two women are talking about it all and providing a new language for talking about sexual desires and sexy talk, and feel great while doing it. Woo! Thank you, human. We love your reviews. Please give us more reviews. Ooh, actually, on that note, someone wrote a review that says, just pure awesome.
Oh, I like that one.
These ladies are awesome. Educated, funny, and full of sexual freedom. Great podcast for anyone willing to explore sex positivity. Yay, we love you, Sunny Earthling.
Cute. See, you don't even have to make it super detailed. It can just be a shout out, something simple. But we really do appreciate it, and we really do read all of them. And we feel your love, and I feel the love, and Amy feels the love, and
all things.
I'm sensitive.
April. You were extra sensitive. I put that vibrator on your clit.
By the way, I'm super excited. Amy and I are going to a Halloween murder mystery party next week. And guess what my costume is?
A cheerleader.
Yeah, and guess what my costume says I have to show you?
Your tits?
No. it's a daddy's cheerleader costume, and it says daddy on it.
Really?
Yeah.
You have daddy issues? You're the cheerleader.
I'll take a picture. I'm gonna take you. We'll have to get pictures because
I'm excited.
You're like Lara Croft.
It's Lana Croft.
There's Lana Croft.
Yeah, I'm but like a blonde bombshell version.
The most
of Lana
interesting
Croft.
Person.
Yes.
You'll ever
meet.
And
I'm supposed to have a gun, but I'm just gonna bring actually a real taser. Instead.
And mine says I'm the life of the party. And
I'm the most interesting woman you'll ever talk
to be around. And I'm going to have pom-poms.
Yay! This is going to be so fun. I'm so excited.
And I wonder who's going to die. Maybe they're going to kill the cheerleader.
I hope.
Hey!
She didn't like that. If you're not following us on Instagram, find Shameless Sex on Instagram, and you can see photos of April, the dead cheerleader.
I'm not dead yet. It's a daddy. I'm daddy's girl. That's what it's
with daddy issues. The dead cheerleader with the daddy issues. All right, folks.
It's been such a pleasure spending this day with you, Amy, and with all of you listeners out there, wherever you are. We love you so much. So have a great rest of the week, y'all. See you next Tuesday. Ciao for meow.
Don't forget to head on over to our website at shamelesssex.com for more. And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use coupon code SHAMELESSPP in all caps at purepleasureshop.com.